Hello, faithful followers of the YouTube channel of the Jollygoodfellowz. This is the walkthrough slash run slash whatever, let's play, whatever all the cool kids are calling it these days of Dark Souls, the Tomb of the Giants. This beginning part, I accidentally lost the recording, so I'm kind of running back through. So some of the items aren't there. I'm going to point out where the items are, and I'm going to show you a couple tricks for this beginning area. Now, first of all, if you're on New Game Plus, you can acquire this Sunlight Maggot, which I'm using right now. And I know you're probably thinking, oh, that's not fair, blah, blah, blah. But there's an equivalent of this. If you have the intelligence level of 14, you can buy a spell called Cast Light. And Cast Light can be acquired from Dusk of Olisile. Now, she is down where the Hydra is. The first time, there's two different Hydras in this game. But if you go down to where the Hydra is, you kill the Hydra, and you come back later, she will be there, and you can buy a spell from her called Cast Light. The alternative to this is it's not very fun. It can be done. You'll probably die a lot and really hate it, but you just try to follow those lights. I would not recommend that at all. It's an awful experience. I did that my very first time through, not knowing that you could get that Cast Light spell. So just go down to that Hydra area. That is, I think it's down where, oh yeah, it is, wherever you fight Havel, his spirit. So if you just go down there, I don't even think you really have to kill Havel. But you just go down there, you can find that path, or find her, kill the Hydra, and you'll have a much better time, because, man, it is awful being down here without light. I mean, you don't have to go very far to get the light. As a matter of fact, we're about to be there, and I'm going to stop using the Sunlight Maggot after we get the Skull Lantern, and I'll use it for the rest of the way and show you how you would do that. And really, the Skull Lantern is a lot nicer because it highlights the route that you have to take in the Tomb of the Giants. So here's your first bonfire. It's not very far, but and is it relieving the first time you see it, because if you've died before that, you have to run quite a ways to get back to the Tomb of the Giants, because there's not a bonfire right when you get here. And also, at the very beginning, where it says Tomb of the Giants, if you turn around and look to your left, you can run down this path in the back, and there is an item back there. Not an important one, but you can still go get it. I'd already gotten it here. And I am going to show you where a really important item is if you're upgrading all your achievements and stuff. I believe this is the Titanite slab for fully upgrading divine weapons. It's down here in this tomb, and I would recommend having no souls whenever you come down here, because you are almost certainly going to die. I think there's like 10 giant skeletons with swords. It doesn't end well here. You can't really cast any spells down here. See, I tried to hit him with that Chaos Storm, but it doesn't go below. Every time I've ever gotten this thing, I've just died. So I tried to cast it down here just to see what would happen, and I didn't even hit any of these guys. So yeah, not very good. So I would just recommend running through here, running to the back of the cave, and grabbing the soul. It'll be lit up right here. That would be your divine ember. And just plan on dying. And once you plan, or not once you plan on dying, well, once you do die, you'll start back your bonfire, which you just rested at, and you can either go up to Patches, the hyena. He will ask you some questions, and he'll kick you in the hole if you didn't kill him earlier like I did in the game on accident. I wouldn't recommend killing him. because he can sell you some cool stuff later on. But this is where he'll be, right at this little soul thing. And then it'll kick you down here. Try not to roll off there. You might die. I got close to dying. And once you're down here, you can find some of these skeleton things. But also, more importantly, is a woman you saw at the well, not the very beginning, but the White Covenant guy. Some of his minions are down here, along with the lady that appears later in the game. I know that all sounded vague because I can't remember all their names. But in the Firelink Shrine, there's a Covenant guy that sells healing spells, and then the lady comes later on and she's praying at the Firelink Shrine. Well, she's down here now with 2 of her followers, and those guys have turned into hollows. So you need to kill them, and then she'll come back to the Firelink Shrine after you kill them. She'll be right around this area. I was just standing by one of these pillars, and the hollows will be back there. Ooh, my voice just kind of cut out. She will be back there. I think she's actually saying like right there where those pile of bones are. But as I said, after you save her, she goes back to the Firelink Shrine. And then all your hollows back here, and there'll also be a couple more of those like towering skeleton things. They're really susceptible to fire. So yeah, you can use like Great Fireball, Combustion. I like this Fire Surge spell. It's a lot of fun. You can move around and shoot it. So you can try using that. Melee isn't all that great. The Great Fireball is really nice because it explodes on multiple enemies if they're bunched up. So once you get out of here, you'll be at the top again, and there's a couple extra little things to get. One of them I don't even know how to get. There's a couple of random little souls you can drop down on. But you can go back to, you see this is where we dropped earlier to get that Titanite slab. And around this side there's nothing. You see walking over here. If you really want to pull out a bow and kill that guy up top, that'll help you a lot up here because you have another skeleton shooting arrows at you. And there is a, pretty sure a sword. Yeah, there we go. Sword skeleton. So it's to your benefit if you actually kill the guy with the bow on top of that pyramid thing, because this is a lot of damage to be taking. And as usual, as I always recommend, Crystal Soul Mass, or Homing Soul Mass is probably what you have at this point if this is your first playthrough. If it's your second, you definitely have Homing Crystal Soul Mass, and it is awesome. Now, after we get through this area, you can get Homing Crystal Soul Mass because you have already saved Big Hat Logan. You're going to save him again. Oh no, you're not going to save him again, but you're going to find him again in the Duke's Archives, and that's where you can buy Homing Crystal Soul Mass. You can't get in there just yet. Now, if you're messing around like me right here, this is how you can end up dying. Just trying to, I don't even know what I was trying to do. Stupid things, basically. But when you're climbing up that ladder, there was another item, and I think there may have been an item up here. So when you're on top of the ladder, you can just drop down. Alright, so now I'm going to show you using the Skull Lantern, running around, and how it highlights everything. Oh, well, not everything. It highlights where you gotta go. There's this blue illuminated path. This is where you'd first get it. When Patches kicks you down in the hole, you pick it up down there. These guys, these like monkey skeleton things, are horrible. They are really, really tough. They will kill you so fast. I would not recommend melee attacks at all. Even if you're a melee build, get some fire, use it on those guys. They break your guard very quickly. They gobble up your endurance. And they do a lot of damage too. You see how he just hit me, and I lost like over 3/4 of my endurance and some of my health. So these guys are not fun to fight against. You can avoid a lot of them just by sticking to the blue path that the skull lantern illuminates. I'll show you something. Like there's a group later on with like 3 or 4 that you can just walk right past. You have to get really close to actually aggro them. Like this guy, he's like right on the path, so you know you kind of have to deal with him. Now, if you're trying to save spells, you may just want to hit him, get him down to where you could hit him just once and kill him. That is a pretty good option. Still a scary one, because getting close and personal with those guys is, oh man, it's not good. Alright, so I'm walking around the hole where you would have to go down. It's right here. And there's a couple little paths. There's a sort of hidden bonfire down here that you're going to want to find. And one black knight that you only have to kill him once. And he'll never be in your way again. If you happen to die, you need to restart this, and, well, you will die. That's just part of this game. One of my favorite ways to get these guys is just stabbing them in the back. They're really easy to deal with a melee class. Probably the easiest way to fight these guys, just run circles around them and get them in the back. Oops. Oh, and I forgot to mention with the skull lantern, it has to be in your left hand. You can't put it in the right hand. If you try to use it when it's in the right hand, he just punches with it for some reason. I don't know why. So keep that in mind. They don't let you use the shield while you're using this thing. And there's the bonfire. I mean, you could roll down there, I suppose. I've never tried it because I wouldn't want to die at this point. But that is your option to try it out. Not recommended. Now, these guys, you definitely only want to pull one at a time. You don't want to be dealing with that monkey one and the sword one. I've got nothing else called. Maybe it's a scorpion. I don't really know. Yeah, maybe. Who knows? Who knows? Need the devs on here to explain this to me. I think you could even walk past these guys, but I don't know. I've never tried that. You stick to the walls because it is dark and they don't really see you. But anyways, here's the bonfire. Those guys are going to be back. So keep that in mind after you've rested. This is a bonfire I would recommend upgrading if you've gotten the rite of kindling. It's definitely worth it. You may need it for Gravelord Nito, or just dealing with all these different skeletons in here. I'd say at least one upgrade. You don't need to go crazy like I did. I think the first time I was playing through, because these upgraded bonfires do carry through your gameplays, but I think the first time I was playing, I was getting just frustrated to all hell, and decided to fully upgrade it. Now that soul over there, I've never gotten, and I don't know how to get it. I've never looked it up. So if you know how to get that soul that was just on the screen, by all means, let me know. 'Cause I have never gotten it. Oh, and also, the Tomb of the Giants is a great place to farm white titanite chunks. There's a lot down here. Now that guy, there's a group of I believe 3 over there. You can just walk right past them. You don't have to deal with them at all. As a matter of fact, I'm going to show you once we get to Gravelord Nido. You can just run past every single enemy and with very low risk of being attacked. So just continue to follow the path. There's a ladder here. You don't even have to climb down this one because it's such a small drop. You won't lose any health. I was just exploring around for some more items. Make sure, try to find everything. So, and once you're down here, you can unequip your skull lantern because you won't need it anymore. And once you enter into the next area, it's still Tomb of the Giants, but once you enter through this cave, you're going to be invaded. If this is your first playthrough, you're going to be invaded by an NPC. I was under the impression that happened every time. At least I thought it happened to me in my second playthrough. But for whatever reason, didn't get invaded. Instead, I had a sweet little lizard here. Gave me more white Titanite chunk and twinkling Titanite. Twinkling Titanite's really awesome because if you guys like the armor I'm wearing, I believe it's the best in the game. It's a black iron armor. It's the only upgradable armor in the game, and you need twinkling Titanite to do that. So eventually, when you fully upgrade it, many of the pieces have more protection than Havel's armor, and don't have nearly like the weight requirements that Havel's armor has. Havel's armor has higher poise, but I think for the weight, that the black iron set is the best because it's really impossible to wear Havel's armor and have any kind of mobility. You're basically just a statue. So you can, at least with the black iron armor, get some decent mobility. That way you can still roll, or at least have an effective roll, not the fat, clunky drop roll. So here I am switching out to, switching out the skull lantern. Now these guys, you can actually run past all of them. I'll show you that, of course, after I die at Gravelord Nido. Showing you the quick route to get back. But these guys won't even bother you. You just block his arrow and just run past, because that skull tower thing, it always tries to flank you. It'll just sink into the ground and pop up somewhere else. Now these guys can do a lot of melee damage. You see them start wiggling, doing the little arm dance thing. Be prepared, because damage is incoming. This area, there's a couple cool things about this area. One, I think it's a good area to farm souls. If you go down in the water after you kill all these magic casting things, there's a lot of these like little skeleton, like baby skeletons. You see them right here, and you kill them in one hit, and they give you 257 souls, and they infinitely spawn. So you can just keep killing them over and over and over, and they also drop humanity. So it's a pretty good deal. You can get a lot of XP in here, but also back here is the white Titanite slab. Yeah, as I said before, you will need this stuff for upgrading all your weapons if you're interested in getting all the achievements. That's for divine weapons. So if you're interested in that, that's where that's at. It's the only spot in the game. Do that. I believe Yeah, to get the fully upgraded divine weapon, you need 1 white titanite slab, and I believe that's the only location you can get it. Maybe there's one other, I don't know. So you'll definitely need that for a divine +10 weapon. And that's going to really help out if you're having problems with, and as I said earlier about white titanite chunk, there's a lot down here. It's going to really help out with Gravelord Nito. You see in one swing you got 1200 with those. If this is your first playthrough, I believe it's like around 500. If you kill all 5 of them, then they just respawn. You can just kind of sit down there and just keep doing it over and over again. Now, if you're concerned about taking damage here, you can equip a shield that has high magic resistance. I believe the Crest shield has the best magic resistance. So if you want to be super careful running through there, just equip the Crest shield and you won't take as much damage whenever you're blocking those incoming projectiles. Now right down here is Gravelord Nito. You're going to take a lot of damage just dropping down here, unfortunately. And another thing to remember is don't stop and heal right here, because what happens is he usually, of course he didn't do it right there, but he usually throws up his, what's it called? He has this spike thing, that thing that just came up. He does that a lot whenever he can't see you. Now this is one strategy for dealing with Gravelord Nito. Some people like to use Iron Flesh and just tank it. Just try to cast as many spells as they can, doing all the damage possible with the high level spells. This didn't really work for me. One, because I Iron Fleshed way too early. But you can try that out. Did not work for me. It took me a little while to build an effective strategy against this guy, because he's much harder in the New Game Plus. So what I ended up doing was equipping a divine weapon. You definitely already have one right now, even if you haven't. If you've been following my guide, you've definitely picked up one. You've got the Sword of Artorias, and you got that from that dragon outside in the Valley of Drakes. You can equip that. I don't have the proper faith to use it. You need a higher level faith. I think it's maybe like 14 or something. Or you can go to the blacksmith over in Undead Parish and have him upgrade a divine weapon for you. And why do you need a divine weapon? Well, it's kind of like how I mentioned in the previous area, the catacombs, that if you have a divine weapon, the skeletons won't come back and you won't have to deal with it. And the alternative is what I did, where you just run around and just plan on getting no souls and dying a lot. So having the divine weapon allows you to kill all those skeletons around Gravelord Nito. And if you kill just the first couple, you can allow yourself enough space to attack Gravelord Nito without luring in the big giant skeletons. And those guys are the pain in the ass. You don't want to be fighting those while Gravelord Nito is attacking you, shoving spikes up your ass. That's not good. So you can run past all this, and I equipped some different armor. I put on a couple pieces of Havel's armor that I thought would benefit me and give me a little more physical resistance. Unfortunately, I don't really like this sword. Now, if you have a different sword you want to upgrade for your divine weapon, go for it. If you like the big weapons, this is a great one. I don't particularly enjoy these giant weapons. I think they're too slow. They're clumsy. I like the small, fast weapons, which is why you see me always using the magic falchion. I don't know, I think that's like a French word, and I think I've said that many times. So, yeah, this is This is how I dealt with him. And of course, I tried to run. You know, earlier I said, if you stand still, he'll get you. Well, I have such a fat piece of armor. He gets me twice. It's unbelievable. Alright, so you get a couple skeletons right here. Now, if you have high faith, this will be a much easier task for you, because you'll probably kill these skeletons in one hit or something with a magic weapon, or a faith weapon. So, alright, you kill these skeletons, it gives you room to fight Gravelord Nito. He has no range besides that, and that's a fairly weak attack. So, you can begin just casting fire at him, everything you got, just non-stop. Don't worry about the damage, just try to stay a decent distance away, because he doesn't have much. That grab thing is about the best thing he has, and if you just keep a decent distance, you'll be fine. And even with like that hit you just got, or I got, if you have Havel's armors on, you have such high poise that it won't matter. It's not going to knock you over, so you can just heal again. And look, you stopped him before you got to those giant skeletons. That's what's key. You just try to kill those couple three right there. It took me a while to kill him because I had that big sword and I have low faith, so I didn't really hurt them much. But if you can kill those three skeletons really quick and move them on back with some ranged weapons, or even melee, you can hit them in the back, and that's really effective. But that's it, guys. Thanks for watching.